Night Podcast, hosted by The Plan, Zash Man, the Fixtorian, Brother Brutus Valentine, and everyone's favorite man all up in smoke, Duart the Pot. Ladies and gentlemen, they're ready to rumble, so let's go to the studio. Take it away, Zash Man.
Damn, we're up, boys. We're up. Oh, my God. We've lost Brutus. What a start.
What a start.
I had some technical difficulties. You know me from the Figure Guys podcast. Usually I've got David Fine doing all this for me, but I'm all new. I'm an amateur, but here I am. We're going, guys. How are you, Duart?
Not bad. Yourself, man? You're excited
Very
for
good,
bro?
Man, I'm pretty pumped up now. We're running. Let's get the two guests on. We've lost Brutus. He'll be joining us again back in a minute, but he's having some more technical issues. Tom Ward, g'day, buddy. How you going? Yeah, and we've got Jason Nook from the New 80s Revolution. Did I get that right, Jason?
You got it, my man. New 80s Revolution.
Damn. What a YouTube channel that is. I've been watching that for the past, I'm sure you've been on for 5 years, have you?
Yeah, it's been about 5.5 years now.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been watching it since the start, and I can remember I was just getting into wrestling figures and stuff when I started watching yours way back, and I was looking at your collection just thinking that is a dream, and I made it my goal to try and get some of the figures that you had there, man. All them mocks and stuff that you were showing, and you were cracking a new beer open every time.
Yeah.
And mate, it's very relaxing viewing and very interesting viewing. Love your show. Are you still doing it?
And I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still doing it. It's transitioned out of just the LJNs and just wrestling figures into, kind of a total 80s pop culture discussion. And, so we've moved on to other toys and other collectibles and movies and TV shows and cartoons and all sorts of stuff. That's
awesome, man. Have you met Tom Ward down the bottom there, right next to you?
I haven't met any of these fellas on here before.
Mate, that dude's one of the best. That dude's one of the best customizers America's got. Isn't that right, Tom? Talk yourself up, buddy.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, Jason, I saw a couple of your shows, man. You got a hell of a collection. I mean, like I said, not just the wrestling figs, but the 80s stuff. I love it. I was looking. You got a Stretch Armstrong?
No, I don't. That was more like late 70s, and
okay.
Yeah, I never had a Stretch, but the LJNs made a Stretch, so.
Yeah.
Is that turnbuckle an official one, or?
No, that was, I'm sure you guys have seen on Instagram. His name is Ringside. It's not Ringside Collectibles. Ring Skirts. I'm sorry. His name is Ring Skirts.
Uh-huh.
He does a lot of figure posing, and he's got a massive Jakks and Mattel collection, and he just makes stuff. He made that.
Nice.
And
That's pretty cool.
It's about as authentic as you can get, I think.
It looks pretty real.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he made it for me. Ring Skirts. I'm sorry. His name is Ring Skirts. He does a.
Is that you, Brutus, with the audio?
Yes. A lot of cool glitches going here, so. But I rejoined you all, so that's good.
Maybe we can get a new nickname for you, Brutus, instead of the Fig Story, and you can be the Glitch. What do you reckon, mate? Will that work or not?
I reckon people in glass houses shouldn't be throwing stones, Josh.
All right. Well, speaking of glass houses, I think we've got a new segment where people send.
Right. It muted my mic automatically. It wasn't me. I had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Oh, no, yes. The word has got out about it. We even got a letter this week wanting to help. So, Zash, have you got anything to put up, or
any what?
Have you got any image to put up or anything like that?
Of what? This? I love that.
Okay. All right. So we have a letter from a viewer who wants the help from the Esteemed Guys panel. So just bear with me while I read the letter. It was very long, right? The original letter was about that long, but I had to cut it down. So Gilbert Poindexter writes, Dear panel, I have a question that I was hoping you could help me with. I'm a mad keen LJN collector and have been ever since I got my first Hulk Hogan figure for Christmas 1985. Although I still have my original figures that I played with endlessly by myself, I never did own a full set. And my original little guys were quite well beaten. As being an only child with no real friends, I would stage battle after battle, night after night in my LJN ring and record all the results. Over the years, I've collected all the figures minty, including bendies, thumb wrestlers, stretchies, giant size, and all the variations I can find. Loose is the only way to go. You have to let them breathe. It's not fair if you don't. I have all the Wrestling Superstars merchandise, including the notepads, badges, watches. My favourite is the Jake Roberts one, and even the Hulkamania hand grip set. I still use the hand grips to build up my forearm strength to this day. The time I spend hunting eBay and Macari, scouring Craigslist, going to flea markets and yard sales, and dealing with other collectors on forums is some of the best 60 hours of my week. I have my figures displayed on specially made red, blue, and white shelves I built myself. After my Saturday morning tour of yard sales and flea markets, I can't wait to Saturday night when I dust and clean my LJN figures to keep them in top shape. On a Sunday, I do a weekly rearrange to keep my display fresh. Sometimes I organise the wrestlers by the stables with managers. Another week it might be in order of height. I've also arranged them according to their weight and also their true weight to build weight ratio. I also like putting all the different production code numbers and sometimes also use these to organise my collection. You know, the A's, then the B's. My favourite are the P3 coded figures. Not so easy to find, you know. Some weeks they are displayed according to their overall win-loss record, both in the WWF and in my own home federation, or the win-loss record for a particular year, or even just for fun. Some
Wrote this.
Is this a letter or a story? Who is Gilbert?
It's a letter from Gilbert. I told you it was long.
Gilbert's got to get a life. Anyway, go on.
Even by how many times they appeared on a televised TV show. SD Jones does bad in the win-loss ratios and is regularly hidden behind at the back. But next week, he might be at the front based on TV show appearances. But you would know that, panel. So let me tell you, the possibilities are endless and the fun never stops at my house. While I'm doing this, I play old VHS tapes of the WWF shows. Prime Time was my favourite, and if the Brain or Gorilla actually feature an LJN on their desk, then I also take out the corresponding figure or figures for my collection, and they go on my desk at work for a week in my accounting practice until the next week.
What is going on? Who wrote this?
Gilbert Poindexter. By the time
Who the fuck?
I can't wait for what my new weekend will hold in store for me. So my question is, panel, this is what Gilbert's asking. Do women smell as good as an LJN freshly liberated from its And how could I go about collecting a woman? I've heard there was one on a forum once, but I think someone else got in before me. Can you help Gilbert Poindexter out?
Fresh out of the package, there's nothing that compares to the smell of an LJN figure. So no, a woman not fresh out of the package. Maybe later.
That's all we've got time for today, guys.
Well, if we started on time, yeah.
Okay, so Gilbert Poindexter. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
So is he saying? He said he rearranges his figures depending on the win-loss ratio.
Yeah.
Gilbert's got to get a job or a woman or something. Sorry, Gilbert, if you're
accounting
listening.
Practice. He's got an accounting business.
Yes.
He does, did he? I missed that bit. Sorry, I tuned out for a half a second during that, or maybe a little more. Listen, so this is a new segment we're doing every week. Can you write a better letter than Gilbert? It doesn't have to be that long. It can be that long. Send them through to Brutus. Brutus, you're taking the mail, are you, buddy?
Yep.
Okay, so send your letters to Brutus. This is... Okay, so on with the show. What else have we got to talk about, boys?
I don't know, but that was the craziest letter I've ever heard in my life, and I can't believe someone wrote that. I really wish you would say who was the person behind that letter.
That's Gilbert Poindexter.
Poindexter.
Look him up on Facebook.
That's
Yeah.
right. He might be able to.
If he's in the Elite Customs group, we're kicking him out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm
So, Zach,
joking.
is
I'm sure he's a
that-
nice guy.
Zash, is that your collection that your line that you're making right behind you right now? I can see. I think that's your.
That's Series 1. I've got boxes full, already packaged here. To all those guys who's ordered them, and I haven't gotten back to you in a while. I am still waiting on some packaging for Razor Ramon. In Australia, we're in lockdown. Shipping seems to have all but frozen over here. So I apologize, but the packaging should be arriving soon, and we'll get all that sorted out for you. To my left, I've got Series 2, which is underway. I will announce it's Bruiser Brody, Hercules, and Macho Man. So, yeah, that's going to be some pretty cool stuff popping up on my neck of the woods.
Nice.
Who
I
did the
found
art
your
for you?
stuff, Zash, not even knowing it was you until just now, to be honest with you. But I saw your stuff on I think Wrestling Figs about 10 years ago. Were you doing it that long ago? Were you making these customs that long ago? No?
No, I wasn't. No, definitely wasn't. No.
All right, well, get rid of that then.
Maybe I wasn't, didn't know it. How's that sound?
It was.
But
Yeah.
there's something happening on your scene, buddy.
What do you
Now,
With all the crazy things going on in the past and present, we have a man who will tell you exactly how he sees it. Come on! With Duarte, the pot.
what?
Oh, no,
Yes, sir.
He's gone.
So let
He's
me.
gone and come back.
There I
Now,
am.
the prices have always been pretty good over in the Canadian neck of the woods, but
100%. It used to be good. It used to be like
It's-
finding gold around here.
they got all the LJNs, man. They got everything.
Yes.
And now I'm seeing stuff that ain't so cheap anymore. What's going on in Canada?
Yeah. So that warlord is going for 1,000 Canadian, which that is kind of crazy. I'll never bash a price. A Rick Root for 600. That should not be the price. Even though it's Canadian dollar, that's still way too high. And the
Way too
warrior
Jesus.
for $1,500. That is crazy. Like, I won't bash a price if someone puts it on one of the forums. I just look at it and I just scroll by. But when I see ridiculous prices like that on like websites like eBay, Kijiji, Macari, you just gotta call people out because that's just fucking ridiculous to sell a warrior for $1,500.
Come on!
Come on, 1,500. I'm gonna sell mine then. Jesus, come on, get out of here with these prices.
It had the belt though.
Doesn't matter. 1,500. If you got your war for 1,500, would you sell it right now?
Yes.
Yes, I would.
100%. And imagine what the mint on card would go up. Someone would start buying. It's prices like that is what makes the prices of the figures go up because people see that and then they think, well, maybe if that guy gets it, maybe I'll try to go high, and that's how the prices go up. But when you see that a Rick Root for 600, and in Canada, it used to be very easy to find figures. Like I was finding figures in Kijiji for like $300, and it would come like 50 figures, and it would come all the Black Series, and I was loving it. And then it just out of nowhere started blowing up, and everyone started buying it, and it was impossible to get anything good. And then that's what you see right now: 1,500,
1,500. 15. I reckon you could buy a Tom Ward custom for 1,500.
100%.
Like, why would you
Maybe.
buy that?
Maybe.
It's
I don't
crazy.
know. 1,500's about how much it costs to post it down here, so I don't know. It's unreal.
Yeah, and you won't get it for 6 months.
Yeah.
I always laugh in the groups when somebody will post something with an outrageous price, and then there'll be that one guy that gives him a thumbs up. I'm like, really? You agree with that price?
It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's changed the carded collecting game too. You can't start an LJN carded collection right now unless you've got lots and lots of disposable income.
Very true.
You know, I used to get, when I started doing mine, you could get lower card guys like Iron Sheik, Mean Gene. You can get them for $35 on card, and now those figures are astronomical prices. And what I've noticed on eBay is there isn't even an auction feature anymore for these. Well, there is, but people are not choosing the auction. They're all listing their figures, buy it now based on the ridiculous prices that they're going in and seeing. So you're paying $500-$600 for a carded Greg Valentine now.
I would never take a mint on card.
Crazy, isn't it?
I bought one last year. I got a Captain Lou for $50, and I just wanted to get it just so I can open it. And I swear the guy sealed the thing back up, because when I opened it, I could see like little scuffs on it, and I'm like, this thing isn't new. But I'm like, $50. I mean, he looked better than the one I had.
Yeah. Took away a dream that you wanted to do.
He did, yeah.
What a prick.
So, listeners, we've got a bit of a competition happening. I haven't got pictures of it, but I've got 2 resin figures that I showed on the Elite group that I'm giving away today, shipped to your door. Well, I'm giving one of them away. You choose which one. You're not getting both. There's a Rick Rude or a Series 6 Hogan. So it keep the messages coming in because Brutus is going to choose the best comment of the day, of the night, and the best comment of the night gets the figure, basically. So, Brutus, have you been looking at the messages so far and the comments that we've been getting? I noticed we've got one from Smash. Smash Ventura is the guy who did our intro, our outro, and all the segment intros as well. So big thanks goes out to Smash Ventura. If anyone knows him or knows of him, he does some great work. But yeah, have you been looking at those messages, Brutus?
Well, yeah, we've got some of them on there. Mr. Weems, of course. Jason Ferrugia from
I'm sure he'll flood it.
Harvey Snoots is there. So Harvey, Jason said Gilbert needs a wife. And Weems, I don't know what he's saying. He says I call this BS. This was written by BV. So that's it. So they're harking back to the
Well, it sounds like you got your job ahead of you picking the best comment there.
Yeah. Jason Ferrugia said better late than never, mate, and Weems little late. But glitches happen. That's life, you know. And things get a bit glitchy.
Maybe he means better late than early. There was an awkward silence. Don't worry, I didn't even understand what I just said.
That's the best figure.
Not everything I say makes sense, but you know what? You take me as I come.
You know you can't edit this out later, Zash. We're live.
Yeah, editing isn't something I have time for anyway. So if I say something wrong, I'll live with it. But anyway, guys, time for my neck.
Are you a customizer? New to the game? Or looking to learn some new moves? Well, join us as we take you behind the curtain and backstage with Zash Man. Ask him questions. Learn all of his top secrets as we give you custom hacks with the plan Zash Man.
Oh, the intro stopped. Custom hacks. Okay, I'm your custom hack man. This is a Tito Santana prototype with Superstar's head. Now, as you've noticed what I've done here, this hack's going to be all about necks. We see good necks, we see bad necks, we see fat necks, we see skinny necks, we see long necks. We see all sorts of necks on these figures. We have people secretly thinking certain things about necks. Get that neck right. So right now, as you can see, I've got one side with just thick, glumpy putty on it, or epoxy, and the other side is kind of sculpted half correctly. How do you do your necks? Do you sand them? Do you scrape them? What do you do? I've got a hack that you might want to know, and that's not a threat. This here is a knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife, right? So what we do, we can scrape it like this. Now, I don't think anyone does it like this, but this is the way I like to sculpt my neck. Have a look at it, guys. Give it a try. It's not overrated. It's actually works. You can scrape your neck, and that side was done with just this. Obviously, you can finish off with some sandpaper, round it off. I'm getting it all over my keyboard. Sand it, and you can sand it after. Excuse me. There'll be none of that rude talk. But this is a good way of shaping your neck. Now, we've got another great customizer, not saying I'm great, but another great one. Customizer that has a great way of doing it. We all know Mark Cochran, and Tom Ward said on the time he came on the Figure Guys podcast, he mentioned that Mark Cochran does it with a stick, a sanding stick. Is that right, Tom?
Yep.
You like my memory, don't you? I've got a good memory. Now, this is... I previously asked Mark Cochran if he could give me a quick example of the tool he uses for necks. And know more about them, contact Mark Cochran. Get these necks right. Oh, it's an easy thing to do. Well, it's not easy. I tell a lie. I've got a skinny neck. Some people have bigger lats. Some wrestlers obviously work out a bit more than me. But guys, have a look at the neck, shake the neck. No more of this mumbo jumbo glumpy necks. Rant over. I'm leaving this and coming back to you guys. Tom's got him. Tom's got him.
Bruder's got a knife. I would never use it. I would never use a knife because I know I'd cut my finger for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And who was it? Who was it that recommended gloves? Was it you, Tom? Or someone else recommend? No, it was Joseph Palmier. He uses a butcher's glove on his other hand. You know, those steel sort of butcher's gloves that flex.
Yeah.
Anyone ever seen them? He uses one of them when he uses a knife, so he doesn't slice himself up again. I say again because he's done it, obviously.
I cut my finger once, and it fucking hurt, and I'll never do it again. Now I'll never use it while watching a soccer game. That's for sure. I was watching a game, just slicing, and bam, it fucking hurt.
It was
AC Milan. Whoa!
It was watching the soccer that did it. That's right. Yeah.
100% hurt it. Come on.
Come on. Give me a break.
I've started trying to use as little epoxy as possible, so I don't have to do it. He's standing, just and really smooth it out while it's still wet.
Yeah.
I've noticed that when you done a demonstration on the Figure Guys, you were working it for like ages.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that than have to sit there and sand, and my sanding never looks that good. So
really, there you go. We've all got different techniques. I always say it doesn't matter how you do it. We've all got different techniques, and in the end, as long as it looks good, who cares how you did it?
Yeah.
Along the way, we've all got different methods. Every one of us. When Joe Gador came on, the way he was explaining he does a custom was almost the opposite to the way I do a custom. And I was like, wow, you know what? This guy gets them so unbelievably good, and he's doing them totally different to me. I found it quite astounding, like we all do it so differently.
No, the tip that I got from him was to take the acetone on a rag, and it only works on the rubber, obviously, but you could sit there and get that rubber like super smooth, like if you got a wristband on someone, just sit there working away on it, and eventually it'll wear down to where it's completely smooth, so you don't have to cut those pieces and then epoxy over them. You can just wear it down. So yeah,
with acetone.
It takes a while.
Did he say that on the podcast? Because I probably missed that part.
He did, and then I messaged him. I said, "No,
with the acetone, you could get rid of the wristband.
Actual rubber.
Yeah.
That must take forever.
You got to sit there working out a while, but
what about a Dremel?
Smooth over.
I can get it off with a Dremel without really any.
Can you?
Yeah.
Well, maybe do the Dremel first, and then follow it up with the acetone because it'll completely smooth it.
That would make sense if you take off a major chunk of it. Yeah. No, well, definitely worth a try. I mean, I want to give that a go now. That sounds good. Are you there for hours or? Is it
I spent a good 20 minutes on one side once.
That's not bad. 20 minutes while you're watching TV.
Yeah.
Would you like me
interesting
to read the
stuff? What? You got another letter, or you want to reread the same letter?
It's part of the same letter.
There's a whole world out there listening. I have a question for Jason, actually. Jason, first off, what are you doing with us? And secondly, I reckon one of the highlights of one of your early episodes was when you were talking about having the lunchbox and the thermos. Do you remember what you said about that?
No, I don't. I saw our man Smash Ventura hanging around here. Can't say enough about that guy.
Legend.
Smash Ventura is fantastic. Real quick, and then we'll talk about the lunchbox. But he did all the openings for my shows, maybe 5 or 6 of them. He almost acts honored to do them, as if I'm some kind of celebrity. He's just such a great guy, and a fantastic show over on YouTube as well.
I think I remember it was along the lines of you open the thermos and you're talking about how you used to take soup to school in the thermos every day, and you open it, and I think sort of went, I think I can still smell the soup. So that's part of the nostalgia coming back.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you've seen that. Yeah, all the lunchboxes had thermoses. You either brought milk with you and it stayed cold magically, or you brought soup and it stayed hot magically. I don't know how they do it. It's from another planet, I guess.
That's an episode that's stuck in my mind as well. I remember. I know exactly what you're saying there, Brutus, about that episode. It's nostalgia at the greatest. Picking up a smell that you remember when you're young is just something that you can't buy that shit.
That's Gilbert knows.
I got caught up one day watching the old commercials of like the 70s and 80s, and watching that is weird how your mind just goes back to that time. You remember, I hadn't seen the thing in 40 years, and I can remember the entire commercial, the song, what part was coming up. It just like triggers something in your brain. It's weird.
Yeah,
that's another. I added that to my channel. I started ripping, some commercials off of YouTube and putting them all together, and then talking in the middle of them and telling stories about the commercials that were coming up. And one of the things that I admired the most back then, remember how much fun the kids seemed to have in the commercials, playing with their G.I. Joes or their He-Mans, and the intricate worlds that were just right outside their back door, right? They had outside their back door, they had a stream, and they had a bunker, and they had, all sorts of stuff right in your backyard.
Didn't Kurt Russell, wasn't he in an ad for one of the big guns early on when he was?
Yeah, early on. Yeah, I think that might have even been the 70s, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get to see a lot of. If you watch those old 80s commercials, you see a lot of kids that went on to become like child actors, and it's pretty fun to see somebody.
When there's a run of those ads, and you get the local ads in between them as well. And, so they're advertising something like Oreo cookies in the 80s. And then next comes up, Mad Mahusha's Bazaar from Beaver, Washington. Come down this Saturday and we'll give you, 20% off your outdoor furniture or something like that.
Exactly.
It's really quite timeless in a way.
It
Exactly.
was interesting when they brought in like some sort of law in the late 80s where they couldn't target kids like that with ads. Because like you were saying, they made the toys seem like they were so much better than they actually were, and just I can't remember exactly what the law was, but it's like they couldn't, like cereal commercials and toy commercials, they couldn't do certain things targeted at kids. I mean,
they're gone. I don't watch a lot of television that has commercials now, but do they even advertise cereal anymore? Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops. Do they even have commercials for them anymore?
I mean, for me, I don't watch commercials. If it's on a DVR, I'm hitting the 2.5 minute button and getting back to where I'm watching.
Yeah, I don't even really see commercials anymore.
Yeah,
I have no time for commercials.
On that note, sponsored by the LJN book.
Well, Brutus.
Yes.
Have you got something organized for this?
And now, it's your chance to challenge the big historian himself. ask a question, or try to stump the LJN Mastermind. Ladies and gentlemen, how's that? With the Fixtorian, Brother Brutus Valentine.
Oh, that's up close. Okay, guys. So we'll go back a bit. So this is the time when, if you have some questions, or maybe you want to challenge and think you have some knowledge that I might not have, and that's really quite likely to have, about the LJ. Now, one of the most important things about LJNs, right, is things like, I always bang on about the production mold codes. Now, the production mold codes are very important, and you get lots of questions online about those. Essentially, each run, they made a new mold, and the molds were made out of steel for the long runs, generally the Chinese made, and out of aluminium for the short runs. But it's a way of actually tracing whether a variant is actually variant or has just been painted. So here we have a figure. I think you can tell from this. This is Jake the Snake, and he is on an A code. Now, he's very commonly on an A code or on a W13 or a W14 code. But what's special about this figure is this is
No
Jake the
snakes.
Snake without the snakes. Now, there are lots of Jake the Snake A codes with snakes, but there are a very limited amount without the snakes. And seemingly they all landed down here in Australia. So just because he's on an A doesn't mean he has no snakes. But if someone's trying to sell you one without snakes and he's not on an A, then it's likely that that's a fake. So that's just one of the uses of the production mold code. And maybe me and Gilbert should talk about it off screen, I think. Now, Dwight, you said you threatened that you've got something that you'll be able to stump me straight away.
Yes. Okay. I got to word it properly. Okay. So
Okay.
it's a gimmick. Okay. So there's 4 figures that were made in Hasbro that LJN could have made. Okay. Who are the 4 characters that were made? If do you understand the question, or do you want me to repeat it?
No one
What's a
understands.
Hasbro?
Okay, come on, you know what they are. Okay, there's four of those figures that had a gimmick in the Hasbro, and if they were LJN, who are those characters that would have got an LJN in that time frame?
Okay, yeah, this wasn't the sort of question I was expecting, but this is
Well,
actually
too bad. Now I'm gonna stump you.
I think talking about Repo Man and Smash would be one.
No. Okay, no. I'll let you go. Who are the 4?
Well, Repo Man had a gimmick in Hasbro's, and he wasn't made as an LJN, but he could have been as Smash.
That's not what he means.
No, that's not the question.
Yeah, look, it's a real technical question. He briefed me on it before the show. I'm going to admit it, before you came on, Brutus. And I said the same thing as you, Repo Man. But that's not what he means. This is so technical that only a stoner can understand it. Now,
Okay, let's run again. There's no bad questions. So
Okay, listen, Brutus. There's 4 characters that Hasbro had in their collection and their gimmicks. Now, if LJN made all the wrestlers that they could have made from the 84 to the 89 range, because there's all those wrestlers that you would have want made, they had a different gimmick then. But when they were in Hasbro, they had a different figure. Who are those 4 figures that could have been made as LJN?
So like Akeem
it's
and One Man Gang would be one of them, probably.
No, that's not one, because there was already a one-man gang made.
Oh, so the LJN doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. The LJN doesn't exist, but they could have made one. But now in Hasbro, there are different gimmicks.
Yeah.
so what he's saying is LJN did not make this figure, did not make this guy at all. But when he turned to LJN, when he turned to Hasbro, he had a different gimmick to what he had in the LJN era. So they could have made him a different figure had they have made him an LJN. Does that make sense?
Attention. Yes, pay attention when I speak. How easy was that?
Maybe if you speak English.
Maybe we get the panel to help on that one.
I'm not ask you, Bruce. I'm going to stump you. I really want to stump you. Who are the 4 characters? There's 4 of them.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it, and the show could go on for quite a while.
Okay,
So,
the 4R, IRS, that could have been Mike Rotundo.
that's right. Or
Owen Hart could have been the Blue Blazer.
yeah, or the Blue Laser, or
Mountie could have been Jacques Rougeau, and
it could have
Doink would have been Matt Bourne, the guy you asked
Yeah.
me in the first time in episode 1 of the Figure Guys with me, and you're like, "Do you have Matt Bourne?" And I said, "No, I do not." So he's a figure that could have been made. So I stumped you.
And
Yeah,
Dwight does not wake up in the middle of the night thinking this shit either, do you, mate?
I just wanted to stump him with.
Since we're talking about Hasbro's, maybe we have a look at the Hasbro book there. Yeah.
Where's my
I got one, Brutus, but you'll probably know it right off. There's one guy that's had a Remco, LJN, and a Hasbro. Do you know who it is?
Okay, a Remco, an LJN, and a Hasbro. Now let's see. Brunzel, he didn't get a Hasbro, and Scott Hall, well, he didn't get a LJN, and this one and that one. One guy who was in all of those, I don't know who was that.
I think
Rick Martel.
Martel, boys.
Of course.
people are just stumping Brutus today.
Things seem so obvious once you say it, though, don't they?
Yeah.
So what do I get for that prize, Ash? I'll take the Hogan. I stumped him. You got my address.
These are for the viewers, and strictly
okay.
for the viewers. The guests, they get the fame and glory of being on the show.
All right.
I just lost 8 subscribers.
Oh,
Hey, you know, speaking of guys that were never made, I did like a series of like 7 shows on people that I wish were made, but I went back to 83. So I did 83 to 90. And I thought of guys like the Samoans, those would have made awesome LJN figures. You know, Superstar Billy Graham, the one that you're working on. You know, guys like that, Dino Bravo, guys that should have Mr. Perfect, obviously.
for sure. Definitely.
Which leads me to the first custom I've ever owned. I have a Mr. Perfect custom. I've never owned a custom in my life, and I have this one.
Yeah, it looks cool, man.
Mr. Perfect was a natural fit for the line. In fact, the research for book 2 features about 115 characters from 84 to WrestleMania 6 that the customizers have been making, including Maniac Matt Bourne, as Dwight said there, the Rebel Dick Slater, Sal Balomo, Steve Gatorwolf, and a lot of the girl wrestlers, such as the Jumping Bomb Angels, the Glamour Girls, and those bigger name ones. So that's interesting. So the idea is, if you've got a question and I don't know the answer, it's probably going to be very likely that I don't, especially if you're talking about Hasbro and AWA, which is Jason's favorite line, isn't it? Would that be true?
No, those guys behind me are my favorites. AWA is a very close second. I loved that line as well as a kid. But Brutus, didn't you? You wrote a little bit about the Haiti Kid being rumored for Series 1, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Well, so the Haiti Kid, there's the famous Haiti Kid letters where people would write LJN, and the Haiti Kid's listed on those letters as being an upcoming release. Now, those letters are quite inaccurate in ways, but the fact that they were considering him is quite unbelievable. And Todd Mayo, who was on the Figure Guys, he makes little Haiti Kids, and Dwight, I think you've got a little Haiti Kid as well.
Yeah, it's going to come in the mail anytime soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch that episode of the Figure Guys this week with Todd Tamayo?
Yep.
Bloody hell, it was interesting. If you haven't seen it, go back on YouTube on the Figure Guys. Have a look at this Todd Tamayo episode. Bloody hell, it was good.
I just like his excitement about everything he's doing. He's having fun with it. Like he said, he's not trying to make $1 million. He's got another job, his real job. But the time he's putting in for this.
And it's true what he says, sometimes he does take a little long to post things because he's taking so many orders and stuff, but he does give things to people for nothing, like he'll add in things, and if there's enough room in the post, I do the same, if someone orders heads from me or something, if I've got another 100 grams or something in there, I'll just chuck a few more heads in, chuck bits and pieces in that they may or may not use. And he does that all the time, so it's
And you also got to be patient. Like he said, that's not his real job. So sometimes life comes up, he has a family, he's doing stuff. He's not just, making figures,
he's a math teacher. I didn't even know he was a math teacher.
No?
So whenever I've got a problem with maths, I know who to message.
But
hey, guys,
he's a good guy to talk to. And he, if you have a figure that you want to be made, you talk to him on his Instagram account, and he'll make a figure. Like I told him that I wanted to make a Gorilla Monsoon, and he just made that one. You just tell him, you show him a pose, he does something magic with the computer or some digital work, and then boom, figure comes out to paint.
And he's teaching Sim Bodie.
Yeah,
I wanted a JJ Dillon forever, and I messaged him, and a couple days later, he's like, "Well, I got 2 versions for you. I got the suit and I got the wrestling gear." And he showed them to me, so I'm patiently waiting, but I got enough to keep me busy. So when he gets here, he gets here.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Speaking of talent, I've got. Do you guys know Nick Johnson?
Yep, he's the
Nick
guy
Johnson.
He's the guy that did the Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I've got that Hogan here, but I'm quite good friends with him here in Australia, and he's making me some 1/6 scale figures because I want a little collection of them. Check out this one that he made me of Owen Hart.
It's
Now,
kind of scary with that music.
I put a creepy soundtrack with that, and that was just a last minute thing, just something I found. So, no, that doesn't fit the images, but hey, it's better than listening to my creaky table while it's on. What do you guys think of that? That's awesome, isn't it?
It is pretty cool. I'm waiting to see Nick's Andre. He showed a couple months ago one that he was working on. It was like half sculpted, no paint or anything, but.
You know what he's done with that? Get this. This is something way beyond my talents, and hopefully one day I'll be up for this kind of thing. I've given him an Andre head, and he's basically shaven the whole thing. Like, the whole thing, like, is bare now. And there's like a nose, which is reshaped. There's a mouth that is totally re-sculpted. The whole thing is re-sculpted. I might as well give him a round ball of bloody epoxy. He's done that much to it. And he goes, I've just got to do the hair and the ears. I go, mate, I've tried to sculpt ears before, and it's ended in an epic fail. It's something I've tried many times to sculpt ears, and it's freaking hard to do. Have you ever tried to sculpt ears?
No.
Ears are like some alien thing that can't be sculpted. So I want him to do this bloody video of sculpting ears, and so I can learn how to do it, because it is so hard to sculpt ears. It really is. Give it a try. If you can do it and make them look good, you're better than me.
You gotta have precision, just going out there going like this.
Yeah. Damn straight.
I'd be there forever.
Oh, mate, it's hard. It's hard to sculpt these. Hey, Brutus, check out these messages, mate. Have we got a winner for this figure that I'm giving away? Guys, you've got about 1 minute to get these comments in, or otherwise you will not win a figure. If you don't comment, you don't have a chance.
We have a message from a new face. Nishidali Dua asks, "Is there a Benny Hill custom?" Do you guys know who Benny Hill is?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
no,
that'd be cool.
I've never seen one.
Oh,
But
I said, maybe do it from Mean Gene Oakland and Outback Jack. Benny Hill.
Benny,
I think no. I think the figure you would have to use is Adonis. It'd have to be, wouldn't it? For Benny Hill, Adrian Adonis. I love Benny Hill. I reckon he was awesome, chasing them women around, chasing the women. That was awesome, man. How good was that? That's comedy. That's British
That's
comedy.
everybody's dad still, man. Everybody's dad in the world watched that one.
Yeah, I can remember delivering the paper when I was about 13 years old, and the front page was Benny Hill's dead. That's something that's stuck in my mind. I was 13 years old delivering newspapers to granny homes and stuff, and I can remember that. That's something stuck in my head. Way off
Michael
topic.
Wee-
Sorry, boys.
Michael Webb has a question. He said if Buck, Blue, Dynamite, Davy Boy, and the Hearts were standing in the LJN ring, what would the total weight be, including the ring?
Is this a question for you, Brutus? Like to try and
See
stump
if
you?
he could stump him.
Gotta do gimmick weight.
It would concern me if he knew that off the top of his head.
Yeah.
And Jason Ferrugia down here said, I'm getting laughed at by work colleagues as I've got earphones in and watching grown men talk about little men. So
Ferrugia loves it. There's nothing he loves more than this.
Yeah.
That's a good comment. That's a good one.
Well, my question is, wouldn't the weight be different here and Canada and Australia when we all have different forms of weight?
Pounds, kilos,
Like you're
and stuff.
saying, you guys use grams mainly. You were saying, Zash?
Grams and kilos, yeah.
Yeah.
same as almost everywhere else in the world except
Yeah.
the US.
Grams and kilos here is really just talking about
We still
cocaine.
use,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He's like, if I have an extra couple grams, I'm like, what are you sending people with your heads? Just laying around, I'll throw it in there.
grams are very important actually because when you're measuring the weight of accessories and trying to work out whether a Bossman nightstick is the real thing or not, it should weigh about 4 grams a night. And so when it's made in resin or something else, that'd be different. And one of the hardest accessories to spot is the Hacksaw Jim Duggan 2x4 because it's just molded from it and it looks identical, but the weight would be the same. But if you're in the US, you need a little tiny scale. I'm not sure why you would have a tiny little scale that can measure tiny little grams.
Yeah, well, who would need that?
Who would have that? Yeah.
I think I've seen Duarte go through about 1.5 grams tonight.
Exactly.
Who counts?
Maybe.
Who counts?
That kid keeps asking me who killed a skunk. I don't know what he.
Look at those
We
eyes.
get to see-
They're starting to
It's a
get
good
tinier.
aroma. And then you just go to bed, you know? As soon as the show's done, hit the button, right to bed.
Straight to bed. So you got a winner for us, Brutus. What's happening?
Well, I reckon I should put. I like Jason Ferrugia's comment, but it's not actually a question. And you wanted a question, didn't you?
You said a comment or anything.
Oh, it's
Comment or
anything. So
anything.
Anything.
Jason, I'm getting laughed at by my work colleagues as I have earphones in and watching grown men talk about little men. And Mr. Weems, you know, we all know why Zash has to charge a higher price between 1,500 post and his ER bills. He's losing lots of money. So he's referring to you cutting off your finger and everything.
He
There.
raises a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just going down. I'm just going through them all again. So what do you think, guys? Michael Weems or Jason Ferrugia? Or the Benny Hill one?
If it's Benny Hill
Michael
too.
Weems is a fan of my channel, so he gets my vote.
Okay. That's a bit biased. I won't get you to run any custom comps. Maybe we should do a scissors, paper, rock.
How would you do that?
Well, one of us be Michael Weems, one of us be Jason Ferrugia, and one of us be the Benny Hill guy. We do scissors, paper, rock, and whoever wins.
Are we on time?
Okay, so the top row do that. Yep. So
Okay,
Zach,
so I'll be
you're-
Michael Weems.
You be Weems. Tom Ward. You can be Jason Ferrugia from Australia, and Jason, if you be Nishidali Jiwa, then you can.
So is it odd man wins?
Huh?
Hey, you can't have a three-way dance with rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, odd man out.
Yeah. And if one guy wins automatic, he wins automatic. You know what I'm saying?
So the winner, the loser
Right.
gets knocked out. Say
Of
someone loses,
course.
they get knocked out, and then
Wait for it.
we keep going
Let's
until
play
there's one
rock,
winner.
paper,
You
scissors.
never done
for
odd
good.
man out?
Let's
So-
go.
All right, who's gonna call it? Who's gonna call it?
Okay,
Go.
rock, paper, scissors. Fuck.
What? What? That's wrong.
Okay, I've made a decision. I've overruled
You
you.
picked the wrong guy to do the countdown.
I was like 5 minutes before everyone else.
Nishadali Jiwa for a question that we would never expect. Is there a Benny Hill custom? Maybe from Oakland or Outback Jack. That's the most left field thing we've heard for ages. So perhaps that should be the winner for this week because we want to do things a bit differently on the show, not follow a formula, not start on time, not have glitches, all those sorts of things. So, okay. So for Nishadali Jiwa, you are going to win one of Zasha's.
Who?
Zasha's.
Mr. Gali Jr. Who was it?
No, Nishadali Jiwa.
Who's that?
That's his name.
Oh, Sorry, Nisha Dali Jiwa. I've never heard of. I think I've seen his name actually. Sorry, I apologize, man.
I think Duarte made it up so he could get a figure tonight.
Right, 100%. I didn't even know who that. That's why I want to ask who it was.
Here's the deal, right? Here's the deal. Who was Nisha Jali? Sorry, I'm not pronouncing it right. I apologize. I'll learn your name. But who was this guy out of the top three? It was Jason, right? Was Jason though? Was Jason him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's won the figure. As far as I saw, me and Jason did paper, and Tom in the middle did scissors. Mm-hmm. So there may be some. What the hell with Jason Ferrugia, which was Tom. So I'm going to give a figure to Jason and a figure to Mr. Jiwa.
What a guy. What a guy.
Jiwa picks first, though. Jiwa picks first, and Jason gets to the leftover one.
Yeah, he's just thank you for that. And I'm glad that after 10 minutes we worked that out. Yep.
Well, wasn't that brilliant? Wasn't that brilliant?
You couldn't play rock, paper, scissors on time. It's not their fault.
No.
it was chaos. It was an absolute chaos. Friggin' I got nothing on that. We won't do scissors paper rock anymore. How's that sound?
It's the pilot episode. It didn't work. It's fine.
What are you doing, Brutus?
It's better off playing with my figures because I never play with them.
I think the third guy is unhappy now. I can see some of the comments too.
God. That'll do me, guys. That'll do me. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good night.